It didn't start with a raise. It didn't start with a business idea. It started with 5 quiet minutes. Every single night. 5 minutes that changed everything about how I saw money, and eventually, how much of it I had. Most people believe getting rich takes a genius plan, but the truth is, it often starts with one small, boring habit that nobody notices. Until years later, when the results speak louder than words. If you're anything like most people, your relationship with money feels reactive. You get paid, you spend, you stress, you repeat. Maybe you even promise, "This month I'll do better." But somehow the numbers don't change. What if the difference between being stuck and building wealth isn't working harder, but creating just 5 minutes of intentional awareness every day? That's what I discovered. A habit so simple I ignored it for years, until one day it quietly built me a 6-figure portfolio. 3 years ago, I was drowning, not in debt, but in confusion. I was working a decent job, earning what I thought was good money, yet somehow, at the end of every month, I was broke. My rent was paid, sure, but my savings were non-existent and my investments were zero. The worst part? I couldn't even tell you where my money went. One night, frustrated, I opened my banking app and scrolled through transactions. Starbucks, Uber Eats, Amazon, random subscriptions, tiny leaks, nothing dramatic, just a slow, invisible drain. That night, something clicked. I realized I'd been treating money like fog. I could see it, kind of, but I couldn't grasp it. So I made a promise to myself. Every night before bed, I'd take 5 minutes to look at my money and actually understand it. At first, it felt ridiculous. 5 minutes? What difference could that make? Night 1, I simply opened my banking app and wrote down what I spent that day. A few bucks on coffee, gas, Netflix. That's it. No spreadsheets, no fancy systems. By night 3, I noticed patterns. I was spending $18 a day on things I couldn't even remember. By night 7, I started asking different questions. Did this purchase make my life better? Would future me thank me for this? Something was changing. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about awareness. Over time, that awareness snowballed. I stopped autopiloting my spending. I canceled subscriptions I didn't use. I started setting tiny goals like saving $5 a day, then investing it. Within months, those 5 minutes became the anchor of my day, a nightly conversation between me and my future self. And it's funny, once you start tracking, you start caring. Once you start caring, you start changing. And that's where the real growth began. You see, your brain is wired for short-term comfort, not long-term reward. That's why saving money feels painful. It doesn't trigger dopamine like spending does. But when you create a micro-habit, something small enough not to trigger resistance, you bypass the brain's defense system. 5 minutes of awareness isn't threatening, but it's powerful, because awareness leads to control, and control leads to results. Like tracking calories leads to weight loss, tracking money leads to wealth. Not because of the numbers, but because it rewires how you think about value. And here's where it gets wild. Let's say during your 5-minute check-in, you find just $10 you can redirect daily from unnecessary spending to investing. $10 a day is $300 a month. Invested at a modest 8% annual return, that's $56,000 in 10 years, from a habit that takes less time than brushing your teeth. But it's not just about money growth. It's identity growth. When you become the kind of person who pays attention to money, money starts paying attention to you. The reason most people fail with budgets is because they make it painful, restrictive, like punishment. But when I made my 5-minute habit about awareness, not shame, it became addictive. Every night, I'd close my notebook and feel a small win. That hit of dopamine came not from spending, but from clarity. And that's the trick. Flip the dopamine. Make progress, not purchase, your new high. Here's how you can start the same 5-minute wealth habit tonight. Step 1. Open your banking app or budget tracker. Step 2. Write down 3 things. What did I spend today? Was it necessary, emotional, or avoidable? And how do I feel about it? Step 3. Set one micro goal for tomorrow. Maybe spend $5 less or transfer $10 to savings. Step 4. Repeat. Every night. No excuses. Within weeks, you'll start noticing invisible leaks, and within months, you'll start building systems instead of stress. Once this habit feels natural, you can stack it. Add one page of a financial book after your 5 minutes, or watch one educational video about investing or mindset, or automate one small savings transfer every Friday. That's how 5 minutes evolves into a new identity, a person who respects money. 3 years after I started that 5-minute routine, I wasn't rich overnight, but I was in control, and eventually, yes, the money followed. I built an emergency fund, invested consistently, started a small online business, and slowly the snowball grew. All from a nightly habit most people would have laughed at. Wealth doesn't come from luck. It comes from awareness, practiced daily, quietly, relentlessly. Because the truth is, if you can give 5 minutes to scrolling TikTok, you can give 5 minutes to your future. And if you do, your future will start giving back in ways you can't imagine yet. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs that first 5 minutes of awareness, because sometimes the smallest change creates the biggest shift. Wealth doesn't start with money. It starts with awareness. 5 quiet minutes at a time.